Okay. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. We're going to be taking a look at a task 2 prompt. Just give me 1 second. So we're going to be focusing specifically on, again, a task 2. This is going to be a "To what extent do you agree?" essay. Okay, so some people think foreign visitors should be charged more than locals when they visit cultural and tourist attractions. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So I just want to kind of go through a quick brainstorm for each side to kind of show you how brainstorming works. And then I want to go through, if we have time for it, an outline. But I have to teach kind of soon, so if we don't have time for that, we don't have time. But at least let's do the brainstorm for each side. Okay, and again, for the brainstorm, this is the very first step. After you see an essay question, your goal is to try to do this in about 1 to 2 minutes. It may take a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on the topic. And I think a real big key for the brainstorm is to make sure you write down everything. Okay, it doesn't matter if the idea is good, if the idea is bad. Your job is just to kind of write down every idea that comes to your mind. You don't need to use it later. But sometimes to get to the good ideas, you have to write down the bad ideas. That's something I would definitely encourage. Let's see if we can think of a quick brainstorm for the agree opinion. And again, for this type of essay, when you have a "to what extent do you agree," I really suggest trying to make sure that you stick with one side. Okay, really take that time to develop one opinion. I wouldn't approach both sides. It can also make your position a little bit unclear if you look at two different sides. Let's just focus on one. Let's focus firstly to agree. So foreign visitors should be charged more than locals when they visit cultural and tourist attractions. Why is that? Maybe firstly this can help encourage better behavior. Okay. A second thing is that maybe this can raise money to, or raise more money to protect local treasures. Okay. Another thing is that it may help entice or attract more locals. I don't know, a lot of times when you think of like big historic things in places, a lot of times the residents may not actually go to see those things because they're like, oh, I live here, I can see it anytime, and so they never actually end up seeing it. Okay, so that might be something that can help bring in more local interest. And maybe it can help motivate locals to bring friends from out of town, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to develop that idea more to see if I actually think that, but it could be an idea. Let's see if I can quickly come up with a fifth one, because this went relatively quickly. The foreign visitors should be charged more than locals. Also, maybe because locals have to live with inconveniences associated with tourists. Thinking like traffic, maybe more litter, noise, etc. Okay. So that was a real quick brainstorm just for one side. I have, again, not looked at this before, so we're kind of just doing this on the top of our head to make this realistic. Let's look at the disagree. So locals should be charged the same as foreign visitors. I don't know, maybe it helps give a greater sense of equality if everyone's being charged the same thing. Maybe like in terms of potential destruction, locals and tourists have the same effect, maybe. You know, if you're walking in a place that has like a fragile landscape, you know, and even if a local visitor touches something and breaks it, you know, that's still possible. Just because you're not from there, or just because you are from there, doesn't mean that you're protecting things. Also, what are some other things we could say for that? Foreign visitors should be charged more than locals. Maybe what this does is it can raise the prestige. Like, unfortunately, people often associate higher like status with things that cost more. Okay, and again, I'm just writing down ideas as they come. Okay, I don't necessarily have to like the idea or work with the idea. I'm just trying to think of some quick ones, okay? And let's see really quick if I can think of a fourth one, because we're still about that 1 to 2 minute mark. Foreign visitors should be charged more than locals. Like maybe like the historical value or the historical or cultural value of a place doesn't change just because someone is local or a tourist. Okay. Great. So again, that's my quick brainstorm. I'm just writing down ideas as they come to me. You don't have to spend a lot of time focusing on it. Okay. Write down the good ideas, write down the bad ideas. There are certainly ideas here that I don't like and probably won't work with, but there are also ideas here that I can think about more and develop. Okay, so this is the very first step. You don't need to brainstorm both sides. Okay, just brainstorm one and then move on to your outline. I just brainstormed both sides to give you more examples. Okay, but you don't need to actually do that. You just need to pick one, and then you can go right into your outline. I have a little bit of time, so I can just briefly go over an outline. Okay, so key thing with an outline, again, when we talk about outlines, we're talking about body paragraphs. Okay, so the second step, your first step is to brainstorm. Your second step is to prepare an outline. And when we say prepare an outline, that means firstly coming up with a topic sentence. The topic sentence introduces what the whole body paragraph is going to focus on. Main ideas. Your main idea is going to explain the topic sentence in a little bit more detail, trying to explain why it's true, why it's important. Then lastly, you're going to have a detail. And your detail is your opportunity to use those examples. You're trying to explain why the main idea is true. You're trying to explain why the main idea is important. Okay? One last quick note about your topic sentence. You want to make sure that your topic sentence is letting the reader know not only what the paragraph is going to talk about, but how it's also connected to the question. So always when you're writing topic sentences, look back at your question and make sure that you're answering it. So some people think foreign visitors. Let's do the agree side. Okay. So let's say maybe all these ideas here that you made for your brainstorm, we made 5 incredibly for this first one. So these are all topic sentence ideas. These are all ideas I can make into a body paragraph. So let's pick one. So let's say, for instance, let's say attract more locals. So let's connect it to the question. So charging or like lowering admission for locals. So instead of saying charging more, okay, let's say like lowering admission, okay, for locals. Or maybe like having a lower admission. Having a lower admission for locals can help attract more interest in the sites from nearby residents. Okay, so that means and maybe we could just make this a little bit stronger because right now this is kind of objective. And I would say with a topic sentence, you want it to be somewhat argumentative. Okay, you want people to be able to kind of disagree with it because you're trying to prove a point. So like having lower admission for locals is better because it can help attract more interest in sites from nearby residents. So normally, those who live close to a place of cultural importance may not feel the need to visit them. Okay? This is because as they live in the area, or they live and work in the area. Their schedules may already be full. They may have family to take care of. Or they may even believe that because a location is so close, they can always visit another time. I'd maybe even take that a step further. Such thinking can lead to months and even years passing without locals ever setting foot inside a place, such as to give some examples, it's like the Betsy Ross house in Philadelphia. And again, these are places where you can pull some specific ideas from your own experience. Yeah, so like use things that you know. You don't need to make things up. And it doesn't necessarily have to be super famous ones, or maybe, for instance, the Statue of Liberty in New York. So again, using things from you can use things from your own city. I would strongly suggest that. Think of some tourist places at your city that maybe people have or have not gone to, even though they live nearby. Okay? All right, I do have to run to a class, but this at least gives you another idea. Okay? About topic sentences, main ideas and details. It gives you an idea about an outline. The main focus, again, was focusing a little bit on the brainstorm. So hopefully you have some things to be considering as you approach your own writing. Feel free, if you see this essay question here, feel free to, in the comments, leave your own brainstorms. If you want to leave your own outlines to be checked, or even maybe even a quick little paragraph, I'd be happy to take a look at it. So feel free to take advantage of that. Other than that, I will see you guys later. Have a good day, have a good night, and a good afternoon. Take care.